lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, welcome everybody to the PWCC Weekly Hockey Auction live coverage. Today is August the 6th, 2023. My name is Jeremy Lee. I would like to thank all subscribers, viewers, podcast listeners. If you're not yet subscribed to Sports Cards Live on YouTube or the Hockey Cards Gongshow on YouTube and podcast, please take a moment and do so. Let's bring out our co-host, my friend, Josh Madigan. Josh, welcome back. Here we go again. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Have you recovered from the last crazy couple weeks in the hobby?
Yeah, I mean, the crazy couple weeks are still going, but I am recovered from the trip to Chicago, Rosemont, Illinois for the National. It was great to see you there. Are you recovered? How was your trip? You had a bit of you had a drive. I was on an airplane. How was that?
Pretty easy drive from the Twin Cities, about 5.5 hours. So all in all, probably quicker than flying by the time you calculate all the waiting around at the airport. The show was awesome. It was overwhelming to a certain degree. If there's such a thing as too big for a card show, that might qualify, if that makes sense to you at all. And honestly, like the big thing for me, I was there for 2 full days. For me, it was more just meeting and networking and talking to people. When I was driving home, I realized I barely looked at any cards, which kind of stinks. But I just got so swept up in conversation for a couple of days that, and I had a time finding cards at some point too, because that place was so big and you could get lost.
Yeah, you said, is there such a thing as a card show that's too big? If there is, that was it. I mean, that was easily the biggest card show in the history of the world. 600,000 square feet, more people apparently than ever before. I looked at cards. I had time to walk around and talk to people and look at cards. Picked up a few for myself. But yeah, it was humongous. It was humongous. Like even a week there, I don't know that you could cover the whole thing if you were moving, but you couldn't cover the whole thing if you wanted to see everything, like pick through boxes and some value bins. But it was fun. I think the thing I came away with that really hit home with me is that the hobby's doing really well overall right now. There seems to be so many people. Every vendor I spoke to had a great show. Many had the best show they'd ever had, even before the show opened on Wednesday. So I'm as bullish as ever on the hobby, although I've been bullish on the hobby going on 40 years. So I don't know what would change now for me, but I enjoy it. What about you? Did you come away with any sort of feeling about how the health of the hobby?
Oh, 100%. I think the hobby is very healthy. And too often, I feel like, and I'm guilty of this too, that we equate hobby health with everyday record-shattering sales, whether it be on eBay or PWCC or other selling platforms, where it's going to be tough for prices to get to those pandemic levels. But I think if you look at the volume of cards that are moving right now, the hobby is in a really good place. And just by having, what do they say, about 100,000 people there?
I think it was 125 or more. And I think the way they calculate that is by ticket sales.
Yes.
So I think that is like, if someone bought a 5-day pass, that would be 5 people, not 1. So it's total people through the door on all the days added together. But I got to tell you, I'm certain that people are sharing passes. And I think the number is even. Now, there will be some people that maybe had a 5-day pass and only came for 4. So maybe it'll balance out. But I have a feeling it might be even more than what they are saying, even though I don't know that they're publicizing what the attendance actually was, aside from saying that it is the all-time highest ever. So it's encouraging. It was busy. Men, women, children, old people. It was everybody was in that room. It felt like to me. So
there's nothing excited. I love more than a 12-year-old walking around with a Zion case and opening it up and having 50 racks worth of cards in there and just being a total boss and wheeling and dealing. I just think that that's so funny. And boy, what a great head start those kids have in life as far as entrepreneurship and deal making and managing money. A lot of lessons that you can pull from this hobby.
And I agree. What they are so far ahead from where we were at that age, but I think one of the biggest things that you just, I think you're thinking it, but you didn't say, was the ability for these young people to negotiate and just interact with people who are 20 to 50 years their senior, if not more, and do it with confidence and be able to, like, that's going to take these kids very far in life, I think. Hopefully they channel those skills and they use them in a positive and constructive way in their own lives. I guess we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. Lots of young people at the national, and I think that does bode well for the hobby. So we are here to talk about the hockey cards on the PWCC Marketplace in their weekly auction. There's 123 hockey cards this week, a bit of a slower week, but maybe it's because we are just post-national and maybe people are waiting a little bit to relist, because it is a uncharacteristically low amount of cards for the PWCC platform. We are used to it. So we are used to there being more. We've got about 26 of those cards selected to look at. We're going to do that. Extended bidding does start in about 23 minutes, but it is now all access. So you do not actually need to have a bid in on the items you're interested in order to place a bid on them. It's all access extended bidding. Keep that in mind, but feel free, everyone who's watching right now, visit pwccmarketplace.com and you can click on the hockey and it'll only show you hockey, and you can see what we'll be looking at. Now, you can't see exactly because these are my favorites and you'd have to be logged in as me to see those exactly. But here you can see 26 results because I do have my favorites chosen over here. And we are looking at right now, it is the weekly Sunday auction number 81. You can click this if you want on your computer so that you're not also looking at items in 82. If you are, just be cognizant that they're not all ending tonight. I only have items in weekly auction number 81 favorited, so I don't need to worry about that. As you can see, 26 of 123 right there. Josh, before we get into them, let's say hello to the chat. Jake Dahl, good evening to you. The Professor, good to see you. Irish Flyers Collector, I believe that is Neil. Welcome to the show. Says hello to both of us. John Boy Art, hello to you. Todd McDonald, good to see you. Name in the house. Mitch, good to see you at the show. How did you not see Josh at the National? I'm surprised.
I didn't see like 15 people. It was so big. You could, I think I saw you once in 2 days, even you, right? Or something like that. So I mean, it's crazy. And I was walking around the whole time.
Yeah, it's, I didn't see several people as well that I know were there. So I guess that's just the way it was in 600,000 square feet of hobby heaven. John says Messi is starting live, 5 goals in 3 games. He should play hockey. Right on, John. Welcome to the show. Goes on to say, been buying hockey like crazy. If I were in the USA, I'd be buying like crazy on eBay. Well, we are here on PWCC, so buy like crazy on PWCC, John. That's who that is where we are looking tonight, and there are some great cards available. So check them out. John says, very impressed with my first Tag 10 Joe Farabee Future Watch inscribed. Cool slabs. In reference to my shirt, John, glad you enjoyed it. Check out pwccmarketplace.com tonight and look at these hockey cards, which Josh and I are going to get into them right now. John says, shipping is too steep. Use Ship My Cards. That's what I do, John. The other thing you can do is you can store them in your PWCC vault and then ask them if they will transport them up to Canada for you when they come to the expo, if you happen to go to the expo. That's usually what I do. There's no customs, John, when you store in their vault. When you store in their vault, there's no customs charge, and if they bring them to you, you're not going to pay exchange rate. I mean, that just factor that into the price. That's true no matter where you're buying, really. So, okay. Let's get into these cards, Josh. The first one we have is this. The first one. This was one that was really interesting to you specifically, and I want to hear what you think. But it's a 1954 Parkhurst Ted Lindsay, number 46. It's in a PSA 8 near mint to mint holder, and I'm going to turn this one over to you. This is your pick, Josh. So What were you and Troy thinking about this card when you were talking about it on the Gong Show?
Well, the first thing that stood out is the name of the player. And so often when we talk about current players on our show, we go through awards and accomplishments, and we'll mention Art Ross Trophy winner, Ted Lindsay Trophy winner. And as Troy and I are still learning about the hobby and a little bit about the history of the game, especially the legends of the past, you see a name like Ted Lindsay and you're like, oh, how did the award go about being named after him? Right. And so that's what drew us into the card. And then you learn a little bit more about, of course, he was a Hall of Fame player. And I just think a really interesting story. And I like cards that have stories and players that have stories where him and was it Doug Harvey who really at peril to their own career started the NHL Players Association, where at the time Lindsay did that, he was the captain of the Red Wings and lost his captaincy, got traded to the Blackhawks, who were a terrible team at the time. And so in order to improve the playing conditions, the pay and travel and all the things that a lot of the players enjoy today, they can go back to the roots and thank Ted Lindsay for that. And then I think you could talk about the other kind of interesting aspect of the Ted Lindsay Award, which is the NHL awarded, I'm trying to be accurate here, by the NHLPA members as far as who had the best regular season. So it's kind of a companion to the Hart Trophy. And, Hart Trophy is voted on by the hockey writers, where the Ted Lindsay is basically the MVP based on the players voting. So I just think there's a really kind of cool story. The card itself, I know there's a couple issues with it. It's not his rookie. He was in the 51 Parkhurst rookie class. But I just, like I said, like players that have that amazing story, in particular, have a very significant contribution to the NHL and to the game of hockey.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's interesting. And because the part where, he started the PA, very interesting for sure. You noted that it does have a couple of issues. It's in an 8-holder. The biggest issue I see is this surface issue right here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is. If something dropped on the card, because it certainly doesn't look like a natural pattern in the fiber of the cardstock. It looks like something was on there at one point or another. So, you got to be comfortable with that if this is a card you're interested. Otherwise, edges and corners look good. A little bit of fray coming off the bottom there. It doesn't bother me. Top left corner looks good. The whole edge looks really nice. Top edge, top right corner. Not perfect, but well within an 8, in my opinion. There's this gap right here between the black border and the red square that the card number is in. I don't know if I don't think that's supposed to be there. I think that we might have a bit of a registration issue with the black plate being laid down, because the magenta and the yellow look perfect, but the black plate might be the one that was laid down a little bit wrong. I'm not sure. Bottom right corner looks good. Right edge looks good. So overall, you just got to get okay with this surface issue right here in this PSA 8 version. Mitch puts up a really interesting comment. A cool Ted Lindsay fact that many might not know. He started the trend of skating around the rink after winning the Stanley Cup. Was the first guy to ever do that. I did not. I probably read it somewhere, but that is not a fact that I know in my head. So Mitch, thank you for providing that interesting factoid about Ted Lindsay. That's pretty cool to hear for sure. I also want to say that I personally put a lot more stock in the Ted Lindsay Award than the Hart Trophy. To me, the Hart Trophy voted on by media, 95% that have never played hockey, or at least professionally, and the players, I'm going to trust there. They are the ones that are out there playing against these players. I trust the players more than I trust the media to tell us who the MVP or the best player of the season was.
Yeah, and I guess, the reason why I wanted to bring it up is I just love every opportunity to, these cards have a story, and it's a story of the game. And maybe if this Ted Lindsay card is not right for you, if there's somebody out there that is not as familiar with him and his legacy, that it might get someone interested to do some research, look him up, learn about him, and maybe consider collecting, whether it's this card or some other of his cards throughout his career.
Right. Okay, before we get on to the next card, a Hobby Champs just was asking, is tag in discussions with the major auction houses to have their slabs sold? on their platforms. I know Golden has like a 5-year rule or something. Not sure about PWCC. I don't know that we're in any real discussions with any auction houses. I know we've talked to them, but it's just a matter of time, Hobby Champs. As for Golden, Golden is owned by the same company that owns PSA, so that might be more challenging because of that somewhat conflict than you have with other auction houses that don't have conflicts like that. For example, PWCC. So we will know in due course. Okay, let's get on to this one here. This is a neat piece. I'd never seen it before, Josh, but I thought we had to take a look at it because Vladislav Tretiak is known as one of the greatest goaltenders in the history of hockey, the best Russian goaltender. I would say of all time, although let's face it, Nikolai Habibulin might have that title now. And I'm only saying that to take a dig at all the Vasilevsky fans out there. I'm just really kidding. But this is a pretty cool piece right here. Let's take a closer look at it. It's from 1970, Russian national team postcard. It's a PSA 4. It's a pop 1 of 1 with none higher. I don't know if there's any lower, but just by that pop 1 in a 4, none higher, certainly leads me to believe that this is a very rare piece and one that I do not know anything about yet. But let's just take a quick look at it. And we see, right, so you've got the portrait shot right now, what is, I believe, a facsimile autograph right there. And then you've got an action picture of Tretiak over here in his CCCP jersey for the Russian national team. I mean, it's a pretty cool piece. I almost wish, Josh, that we had a card of Tretiak that was just this portrait. And I know you're not a huge portrait guy, but it'd be really cool if that itself was a card. But I think it's a pretty neat piece. What do you think of this?
Oh, I think it's super cool. And if you're a Miracle on Ice collector or love international hockey or Russian and want to collect players from your native country, then yeah, this would be a real cool card to own. And so I'm going to step out on a limb here and you're going to tell me if I'm wrong, but I think so. Tretiak never played in the NHL, right?
Correct.
So that's kind of with him. It's sort of a big what if, like what could he have been if he had come over to play in the NHL?
Well, yeah. I mean, what could he have been in the NHL?
Yes.
I think what he was in Russia was an all-time Hall of Fame goaltender. He's in the Hall of Fame. So that's, that says a lot about it right there. Garrett Patrick says Tretiak was good, but he never faced the best talent. Well, he faced the best talent in Russia. He faced Karlamov and he faced Krutov and he faced Larionov and all, that's the who's who of Russian hockey, before really Fedorov and those fellas came over. So definitely, I don't want to take anything away from Tretiak from a skill level, but on the same token, Gordie Howe never faced the best. Jacques Plante never faced the best talent. They faced the best talent at the time in their leagues. And I think the same can be said for Tretiak. But I wasn't watching them play in the 60s and the 70s. So hard really for me to say for sure. Neil says, Ted Lindsay is a name we've all heard and is nice to learn more about him. Thanks for highlighting this card. You are welcome, Neil. I think it's really, really cool as well. $96 right now. I don't know. I mean, I can see a few people going for this because you haven't seen, and people collect Tretiak. Tretiak has hobby love out there. There are people that want Tretiak pieces. I think they would want this one here. Okay, We have a Gretzky rookie here. Josh, we have a PSA 6. That's X to mint, or X mint. It's a Topps copy. It's currently at $1,175. Let's open this up and take a quick look at it, do a quick Jay Lee analysis of this one, if I can call it that. So right away, you notice that it's off center side to side, but it's not that bad. Like it's obviously off center, but it's not that badly off centered. The 6 is more than fair, I think, for this center. For the centering, I think a 6 fits. Top edge looks nice. Top left corner looks really nice. Top right corner has some white showing, so not perfect there. Looks like we have a little bit of snow in the background, unless that is on the slab, but I think that is on the card. Edmonton Oilers is beautiful. Color focus, beautiful. Minor fisheye over there, fisheye over here. Bottom left corner looks not perfect, but very nice. Bottom right corner looks great. Bottom edge looks great. Right edge, left edge. I mean, this card looks really nice. I'm not sure why it's only a 6 outside of the centering. Well, maybe it's the top right and the bottom left corners. It's kind of, I think it's got to be those. There could be something on the surface that we're not seeing. But, you know, for a 6, not too bad. If you're okay with this centering, this is a pretty nice copy overall. Pretty nice copy at $11.75. What were your thoughts on this one, Josh?
Yeah, strong 6 is how I would put it. And as we've talked a lot before, and you've graciously talked on our show, the Gretzky rookie is almost a hobby in of itself. And because there's so many of these cards, especially at these middle grades, there's an ocean in between at times, like a high 6 and a low 6. And so this is a card you never just want to buy the number. You want to have a very discerning eye. And then, when it comes to a grade 4, a grade 5, a grade 6, there's trade-offs because there's a reason why the card is a lower grade. And it just comes down to, are these the trade-offs that don't bother you or the ones that you can live with? And all in all, pretty amazing card to add to your collection. The registration seems really good on this card too.
It does, but I'm seeing Neil saying registration off a little on the logo. I'm not seeing it. I mean, maybe the oil drop is sitting a little bit high in the pocket, like these borders, this white area is narrower in the bottom, which I definitely see that, but that's about it. Very minor, because when you look at the image, look at the legs.
Wayne looks really crisp.
They're perfect. His face is as focused as you're going to get it, pretty much. The red, the Oilers and the Edmonton on the same plane. I might actually expect this to be a little bit higher up. He said, he's saying that the Oilers logo is not centered in this black circle. I've never seen one where it is. Like, maybe I don't notice it as much because that doesn't stick out to me, but find me one where it is. I think it's very rare. Maybe it's not. I shouldn't say that. I'd have to look at mine. I have this card in a 9, and I'd have to see how it is, but I appreciate the comment. He says not centered in the circle right there. So yeah, but very few are, especially O-Pee-Chees. In any event, a very nice card overall, sitting at $11.75 as of right now. Before we go on, I just wanted to call out, Mitch says that Tretiak stood on his head in the 1974 Summit Series against the greatest players in the NHL at that time. Was it 72 though, Mitch? Was it 72 or did they do another Summit Series in 74? I'm not sure. Okay. Now, next up, 3 cards. Is there one down here? 4 cards, 5 cards from Wayne Gretzky's second year. So we've got the All-Star card, we've got the base card, we've got the All-Star card again, and we've got a scoring leaders card. So these are all very high grade. Usually you see like these cards, you can pick up these cards raw at a local card shop in not great condition for $5 or $10. These are not rare cards by any means. I'm not talking about the second year base. I'm talking about the All-Star, the scoring leaders, and that. But in high grade, these are so darn rare and hard to find that we have to look at them. And look at this bid already, $6,750 for this second year Gretzky, but it's a non-base card. It's a really cool card. All that being said, only 11 PSA 10s. I don't know that we've ever looked at this card before, Josh. I don't think we have. I don't know that I've ever followed the sale of this card ever. So really interested to see what it does. I have no idea on comps, but it's a really cool card. And just before I let Josh in, we're gonna talk about these ones. So again, this is the O-Pee-Chee in a 10. We have the Topps version here in a 9. I have to think that this is scratched because I believe that when this came out, that this name part here, and you can see there is some remnants of that black coating, there would have been a black, like a lottery ticket layer on here that you would have had to scratch off to see who the player was, as if you didn't know. And you can see there's a bit of remnant of it over here and over here. So this is a scratched version. I'm surprised PSA doesn't say that because there could be 2 differences, but they may not realize it. I'm not sure. So whereas on this one over here, this 1980 top scoring leaders, you can see the black remains. This is also a PSA 10, but this is unscratched, and this is population 1 of 6. So now this is a 9. Maybe that's why it's not a 10 because of the black being removed. I don't know how they handle that. But Josh, what are your thoughts on these three? The All-Star O-Pee-Chee, the All-Star tops in a 9, the O-Pee-Chee in a 10, and the scoring leader tops in a 10. How do you like these cards?
Well, any early Gretzky card, of course, I'm in. I'm a fan. I think I remember seeing if you could go into the All-Star PSA 10 and click into it a little bit. I think if I remember, this one's a really rough cut, which I thought was really interesting. And especially if you see the back of it. Like if you the back of it looks crazy.
All around. I mean, you're seeing it on, except the bottom edge, you're seeing it on the left edge, the right edge, up and down this border. That's an O-Pee-Chee rough cut for sure. And you're seeing the top edge as well. The bottom edge is sharper, but still that O-Pee-Chee rough cut. That's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
You're talking about the back. Okay, let's take a risk here and go to the back of this card. See what we're seeing. $7,000 now for this on the. Let's open this up, and I'm going to close this now so we can save bandwidth. And yeah, you're definitely seeing all this fray and rough cut on the left edge here on the reverse. You don't see it as bad on the right edge. You see it on the top as well.
I don't mind it, but it does make me think, what an impossible job to try to put a grade on the edges when you have, I mean, it's like this card is fur, essentially. It's so fuzzy on the edges. But all in all, very cool card. I did look up a comp. The last one sold from the PWCC vault for $8,000 on April 12th. And so I'm assuming now that we're ahead of that. Oh, yeah, we're well ahead of that with the buyer's premium.
We're at 9 right now. Yep, we're at 9 right now on this one. But, some people are going to be like, I don't want that rough cut. I'm going to wait for a copy. If I'm doing the Gretzky master run on the PSA set registry, they're probably okay with this because a lot of set registry people really only care about the grade. Some of the more discerning set registry participants do care about the card in this holder itself, and they may say, I'll wait for a different copy. You may never see one. There's only 11 of these, and you might just have to take it. All that said, I don't mind it. I don't mind it that much. I would mind it more on the rookie card because when you break from blue to cardstock color, it's more noticeable. On this one, it's less noticeable, even though it's obviously there. But
would you say that that's your limit, though?
Maybe. I mean, I do like it. Like
I like it too. I'm just
yeah. I wouldn't want it to be much more than that. I guess you could say much more rough of a cut than that one. But I do like the card. The only thing I notice about it, if I'm going to pick, outside of that if I'm going to pick on something here, sorry, not this one. It's this card here. Right over here, I notice you've got listen, this is par for the course, but you got this fisheye right here. Maybe it's two fisheyes beside each other, right? What in the yellow here and down in the red. But, again, not a major defect or issue there, but something I just want to make sure people are aware of it. If anyone watching right now is thinking about bidding on this card, but it's a great card overall. And I mean, look at the tops 9, much sharper, but you've got some fray coming off it. Nice. I like fray, little fray coming off. The bottom's a bit of a rougher cut, but still very nice. Right edge is basically perfect. I'm not sure what this action is right here. If that's something, if that's on the card or not, I just don't know. And the top right corner, not perfect, but I've seen worse for sure. So be aware, and decent card overall, I would say. Okay, let's, and then there's this one here. Let's just open this one up for a second and take a look at this guy, because this is the Topps scoring leaders, Marcel Dion, Wayne Gretzky, and Guy Lafleur. For those that don't know, I think most people watching would know who those guys are just from their faces. But otherwise, you could scratch off this black scratch-off substance and you would get their names underneath it. Josh, honestly, I was never a big fan of the Topps cards back in the day because I didn't want to get that black stuff all over my hands. And it kind of oftentimes ruined the card when you picked it off. Yet with it on, it's kind of an eyesore with it on. All that said, this is still a second-year Gretzky card, so still pretty important, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, it's weird. It just seems kind of ugly with it on, but I appreciate it too. It's I'm really torn on this card. I love the fact that you've got Gretzky with two other absolute legends too. Sometimes you get these cards where it's like Wayne Gretzky and two guys you've never really heard of that maybe were in the NHL for a cup of coffee or something like that. And so I think that does add the element to it. It's just a kind of weirdly designed card. And then with the scratch material still on there, it does look a little strange. But so it's not for, I'm sure, the money it would go for. It wouldn't be how I would invest into Gretzky, but I do appreciate it.
Well, and again, I think it's for people that are doing that master Gretzky checklist.
Yep.
This will definitely fall in. Like, this is a pop 1 of 6. And when you're doing that master checklist for the set registry, you need all of this guy's cards, the tops and the O-Pee-Chee version. So this is on a lot of people's want list. There's no doubt. There will be some competition on this card, I believe. So good luck to everybody going for it. And then we had this is his second year card, his main card in the set. We have it here in a PSA 8 holder and here in a PSA 9 holder. And that 9 does have the exceptional eye appeal rating, which is the top 15% by PWCC. And right away, I can tell this card is a stunner. It is so well centered, nicer than the 8. We can just tell from here. Let's open up the 8 for a moment. Just take a quick look at this. Then we're going to go to some comments. So right away, I can see it's got some tilt to it. It's got some counterclockwise tilt. Basically, this border up here is narrower than the one down here, and off to the right side, this border is narrower than the one up here. This happened a lot in the 80s with the way cards were printed and the way the sheets were put into the printing mechanism and equipment. So overall, though, outside of that, a very nice copy from this angle. So that's the 8, currently sitting at $310. But the 9, let's look at this. Let's look at this 9 with eye appeal right over here. And this card is really nice. Okay, so the edge is a rough cut. Top edge has the rough cut, but the top left corner, it's hard. I'm not making it out clearly, but it looks really good to me. Some fray coming off the top right there, but you see that same fray over there and over there. So that's consistent. Nice corner there. Top right corner looks good. Again, rough O-Pee-Chee cut on the top edge. Right edge coming down looks pretty good. Bottom right corner looks great. I wouldn't say it's razor sharp, but definitely really nice. Bottom edge, rough O-Pee-Chee cut. Bottom left corner looks very nice. And that left edge looks nice. But that centering, it's not bang, bang on, but it's about as good as it gets for this issue. And I've looked at tons of these cards. And
if you had this card, this exact one, is this one you would consider bringing to PSA and asking him to look at her again?
No, I mean,
you think it's a 9?
I think it's a 9. I think it's fairly graded, but I do think it's a strong 9. I agree with PWCC's eye appeal department on this one. I mean, look at it from here. It's that centering. It's tough to find these cards so well centered. And again, this one isn't perfect, but it's really, really nice. I don't think I would agree if they gave it superior, but they gave it exceptional. So I do agree with that. I'm looking at. I wonder if the color on this is a little bit light. Nah, because the 8 it's got the same color as the 8. It's got better color than the 8. So I like this card. This would be welcome in my collection. I do own this card in a 9. I love my copy. This one would be welcome into my collection. I'm not sure what this is here. These little black lines right here. I don't know what those are. Are they on all the copies? Oh yeah, they're on both. So it's something in the stands. They're on both copies. So nothing to worry about there. Yeah, a nice card right now sitting at $1,925. And I think that's fair. I like it. All right, let's go to some comments before we move on. So Mitch clarified the 72 Summit Series was won by Canada, but USSR won the 74 series, and Tretiak performed much better, but it was only against WHA players, which did include Bobby Hull and maybe even Gordie Howe at that point, and maybe even Jacques Plante at that point. I don't know for sure, but that's still quite the accomplishment. Definitely. Look at this. Peter Collect says, cool to see the Tretiak. And Again, we're talking about this one right here for people who just joined. I own that exact one, that exact certificate number, subbed it myself, sold it a year or two ago, and now it's being relisted. So pretty cool for you to see that again here, Peter. Thanks for giving us provenance on it. That's really nice to have some provenance on a card like that. Really, really cool. The Gretzky looks like it was torn from the sheet with someone's hands. Not that bad, Mitch, but I get what you're saying. Irish Flyer says, looks like it was cut with floss. And maybe those wires were the consistency of floss by that time. Mitch says, do O-Pee-Chee cards generally grade higher than top since they don't ding for the edges? I don't. Tough to know for sure. Lapper, welcome. How do we know when we can't see the name? Not sure I believe you. Yeah, well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is definitely Marcel Dion. That is definitely Guy Lafleur. And that is definitely Mario Lemieux in the middle, Lapper, just in case you weren't sure. Josh is smirking as he should be. Neil says, what are your guys' thoughts on that gimmick of the scratch-off surface of the Topps 1980 cards? I think it's a neat gimmick that they did it, but I didn't love the cards back in the day because of it, and I remember having some. The O-Pee-Chees were just cleaner. So anything to add to that, Josh?
I love when card companies try new things. And you know that 9 times out of 10, they're not going to work, but that 1 time out of 10, you typically get something really special. So I'm all for trying stuff as long as they learn from their quote unquote failures or things that don't work out real well, then yeah. So it's a good experiment.
Mitch says, I'm team scratch and team peel. I'm team peel for sure, Mitch. Dark Mark says, when are you doing that McDavid auto giveaway? You missed that, Dark Mark. We did that back in April. I think it was April 15th. You missed it, buddy. Sorry about that. Irish Flyer, it sure didn't help the sport in the U.S. since most people didn't know the players without scratching it. It seemed like Topps was owned by Miller Lite Beer at the time, king of the gimmicks. Makes sense. Loves the second-year Gretzky, being I'm sure he's talking about this one right here. And Michael Ham in the house. What is up, Mike? Good to see you, buddy. As always. Okay, we also have the Super Action Gretzky. This is a third-year card. This card gets a lot of love, Josh, in the hobby because it is such a cool picture of him. Like, I love this where you think about like motorcycle or, motorcycle racing. When those guys race on dirt bike, and motorcycles, they are on such an incline that their elbow is like inches from hitting the concrete, the pavement, right? That's what I think when I look at this. He is catching an edge there on his skates. Like, how is he not falling over? Well, everybody, that's Wayne Gretzky, and he knew how to skate pretty darn well. So I love the image. I love how big the stick is. You can tell, I think, like, I wonder actually, is this in warm-ups or is this in the game? Because where you got players back here that seem to be heading somewhere. What's he doing over here in the forefront? It might be warm-up. I'm not sure. Michael Ham does say Super Action is his best photo. I have 2 of these. Yeah, people love it. Lapper says Super Action, definitely one of my favorite old school Gretzky cards. Yeah, I'm glad to hear from you guys because I agree. What about you, Josh? Thoughts on the card?
I love the card. Love the photo. Love the font. I'm kind of a font snob, and so that Super Action font is just perfect. It kind of has that like Excite Bike feel to it, like you're talking about the motorcycle racing. I do have a question for you about just this whole Gretzky theme of cards we're looking at. You had mentioned that people might be doing the Master Gretzky set registry on PSA. Do you have any idea how many people do that? I know it's kind of a tough question, but is that like 50 guys or is it hundreds of people that do that? Or I'm just kind of curious because that's a world I don't know.
Well, I will check. I will see if we can figure that out because you can go to that set on the PSA website, and then you can see all the people doing it and how like their usernames and how far ahead they are with it. So I will try to bring that up while we're doing the show and come back to that shortly. Okay. But you certainly piqued or sparked my curiosity on that as well.
And then the last thing I'll point out about this card that I just love is how just by pure body positioning, how the 99 on his left sleeve there is just perfectly right front and center.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, Now that you mention it, like look at that. It is perfect on there. Unless there's some airbrushing going on, which I don't know if there is or isn't. Maybe not. Maybe not.
So.
Yeah, I don't think so either. A great card overall, sitting at $2,300. Curious as to the pop, Josh. Do you mind looking up the population on that? I'm gonna
do it right now.
Thank you. I'm gonna go to some comments while you're looking that up. I'll leave the certificate number up on the screen for you. Jake Dahl says bidding on a card. Good luck, Jake. Please keep us posted. Mitch says this is the best 80s Gretzky card to me as well by aesthetics. Lapper said that would be a tireless chase for set registry when there are a bunch of Gretzky cards such low. But yeah, Lapper, but I think you can do it. Like, I think maybe not, but maybe only up to like the end of the 80s sort of thing is what I was thinking. I don't know that you're going to go much past that because, like you said, it's impossible to get every Gretzky card. There's just way too many of them. But I think some people just want to do it from like 79 to 89 or 90 or maybe even 91. But we'll check it out and see if we can find that set registry on the website.
So I'm trying to pop 31 in that Gretzky Super Action.
31. What about nines? How many nines? Do you see that?
174.
31 nines and about how many total graded?
31 tens and 174 nines out
That's
of 1,072.
So 100 out of almost 1,100 are a 9 or better. That's a high mint plus rate for 1981, I would say. Yeah.
So 31 PSA 10s, 174 PSA 9s, and 358 PSA 8s.
Yeah. Well, only 31 people can have this card. It's a bit of a higher pop than I actually thought in a 10. But look at that, $2,600 with time to go. All right, we also have two more Gretzkys here. The 81, so from the same year as this card, although this being O-Pee-Chee, this one here is the Topps Oilers Leaders card. So these are neat cards. I remember like putting this set together as a kid in O-Pee-Chee, but still, these were cool. Every team had one of these cards. It gave you the team leaders for goals, assists, power play goals, shorthanded goals, game-winning goals. Gretzky had the most goals. Gretzky had the most assists, the most power play goals. Shorthanded goals, he tied with Lee Fogelin. And game-winning goals, Glenn Anderson actually had 5, which was more than Gretzky had. But Gretzky had 164 points. This is before he ever scored 200, but he was still ramping up back in these days. This is a beautiful card. Really nice card. Looks perfect to me. Really great card. $230, probably because a higher pop. Topps in 1981, you can open up packs of Topps right now from 81. Those cards are in really nice shape. They produced them super well in 81 compared to O-Pee-Chee. Like, look at the edges on this one. So here's his regular base card, Topps PSA 10. And I mean, look at it's just perfectly made. The color is laid down. The centering is there. The corners and edges. Like, this is pack perfect. And I've opened packs of these in the last 10 years, and they come out as beautiful as this one. So I'm going to guess that we have a much higher pop on this than we did on the other, on this O-Pee-Chee copy from the same year. So a great card. $1,325. Josh, do you mind checking the pop on that one?
Yeah, I'll do it right away.
Appreciate that. Really curious how it ranks compared to 31 for the in-action O-Pee-Chee card. Really interested in that. Michael Ham says the Topps run should not be too crazy. I agree, Michael. I agree. Irish Flyers, I've got all major manufactured Gretzky cards from 79 to 91 except for the O-Pee-Chee Rookie Card Expo. Here I come. I love it. Very nice. And minus the box bottoms. Yeah, I'm a big box bottoms fan, Neil. Really like them. Did you get there yet, Josh?
It's wheel is spinning, so it should be coming any second now. I did get it. The PSA 10 population is 74 out of 5,355 graded. It jumps up to 1,534 at PSA 9.
So 70 something you said out of
74.
Out of 5,000, that's like 1.3%, top 1.3% of the pop. Like that's a crazy low gem rate. And I can see why this card is going to get $1,325 plus not being, considering it's not O-Pee-Chee and considering it's got a pop of over 70, that's a tough card to get in this condition for sure. So pretty cool card, everybody. Pretty cool card right there. I also pulled out here. Let me just close some of these windows, Josh, for a moment. And let's take a look at this 1981 O-Pee-Chee sticker. Now, I was putting these sets together as a kid in the albums, but why I pulled this card up out of interest, and let's just see what the bidding is at right now. $525, pop 2, and a PSA 10 for this sticker. I mean, I'll tell you, I peeled all mine and put them in the sticker book. So, a lot of them went that direction, but I don't remember this one. Like, I don't know, maybe I started in 82 or 83 with my sticker books, and I never did this particular one, but
there's 3 Gretzky stickers in 81.
It's from 81. Like, this is super early. Was this the first year of stickers? I don't know, but I think it might have been.
There was 3 Gretzky stickers in that set. So this is one of 3 different stickers. There's another portrait, and then there's a more action shot.
But do we know if this was the first year of O-Pee-Chee hockey stickers?
That's a great question. I don't know that.
Because I would say, and of course, it's not going to be technically correct, but for the sake of discussion, would this be considered his and air quotes, his rookie sticker card, or really his first sticker card? I wonder. If it is, I think it's very special. And, pop 2. So for those people who are looking for as many Gretzky cards as possible in as high condition as possible, this is one you just don't see. And I would expect there to be some action on this card tonight. So let's see what happens with it. All right.
Can I ask you one last big picture question, Jeremy, about Gretzky and really all these cards? So one of the things I assume, and I might not be right, but when you have an auction that had 122 hockey cards and there's 6, 7, 8 really high-end early Gretzky cards in there, that I think it's reasonable to assume somebody might be offloading maybe their Gretzky collection, because it seems coincidental that they're all here today. And so my question is, if you had a collection, let's say all these cards were in your collection and you decided you wanted to liquidate or move on, do you think it's a smart move to put them all in the same auction like this? Or would you sell them maybe a little bit over, maybe over a couple months?
Honestly, I say do it like this, because
Okay,
I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen before where you just know somebody is selling their collection, and then it brings so many eyeballs because everyone's like, what is going on? And then, I don't know about you, Josh, but when I start shopping for cards, whether it's online at a card show, at an LCS, wherever it is, if I'm going to buy one card from that seller, I might buy more cards because it's just more convenient. So, and then, you also have a better shot at knocking more pieces off your checklist. So you're like, listen, if I get the first one, I'm going to keep on bidding to get even more of them. I think it's a good idea to do it, but there's going to be a tipping point where it's too much. So yeah, I think it does make sense myself. Okay, so Todd McDonald just throws up a comment about the sticker. He says, I believe in Bobby Burrell's book. The 81 stickers set was not maybe distributed across the country. I think they were up in Ontario more. Love the stickers. Well, that just makes it even that much harder to find this one here if it wasn't distributed across all of Canada, and likely didn't even touch the United States unless people carried them across the border, which I'm sure happened. Okay, you good to move on, Josh?
Yep, good to move on.
All right. Let's get to some Red Wings here. We have a whole row of Red Wings I just noticed, and we're going to start with the Steve Yzerman. This is the Topps rookie in a PSA 10, sitting at $1,225. You can tell this is very recently graded because the cert number starts with 7.4, and it's in a PSA 10 holder. I can tell right away that the centering is off left to right. I mean, you can see that, right, Josh? It's not just me seeing that. I actually wonder if this is, I wonder how it's like, is that still 60-40? I don't know. I'm also noticing it's got this action right here around this border. I'm noticing registration issue. The pink, which is likely a combination of magenta and one of the other plates, is placed up high, because if we I can't zoom in any further, everybody, but if you just look closely at these borders, you will notice that I see some yellow here in between the orange and the black. So the yellow plate or the magenta plate was placed too high. So you have this thin yellow line, shouldn't be there. You have this thin white line between the black and the pink there. And then the pink comes above the black line over here, and the red comes above the black line over here. You're seeing a big gap right there. I don't know. This is this is definitely not a 10 in my mind, everybody. I would not be paying 10 money for this. I'm sorry if the consignor of this card is watching. You have my apologies, but I have to call it as I see it. This is definitely overgraded. I think this is a 9 at best. I could even see this card being an 8, to be honest. I don't understand how this is in a 10 holder. I don't understand it. I would not recommend buying this card to anybody who trusts what I have to say. I would stay away. I would stay away from that card. But continue, Josh. Anything to add? Like, am I out to lunch, or am I like? I don't even know how this would get a 9. To be honest, I think this is way overgraded. Way overgraded. What do you think?
I totally agree with you. When you take the time to look past the number and examine the card, it's not one that I would want to pay a premium to have in my collection.
I wouldn't even want to pay a discount on this one, you guys. I wouldn't even pay 9 money for this copy, to be honest. I wouldn't even pay 9 money for this. This is way overgraded. Way overgraded. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I apologize to the consignor, but I got to tell you, that guy got lucky because not everybody watches this show, and some people are someone's gonna. Yeah, well, let's just leave it at that. I think I've beat this card up enough. Okay, let's go on to this one here. This is the 1991 Pinnacle Nicholas Lidstrom rookie card. This is in a PSA 10 gem mint holder. Now, I love this card. This to me is Nicholas Lidstrom's best rookie card, just to me. I like his true upper deck rookie is a Team Sweden card. It's a great card. Yeah. Card number 26 from 91-92. But then he's got that Young Guns from the high numbers set that year, which is a way cooler card, but not a rookie because he had an earlier card in an earlier series. To me, I always like this card the most. It's got a premium feel. Ooh, let's just back that up a second. It's got a premium feel to it. It's the copy that I don't own it anymore, but it was the copy of Nick Lidstrom's rookie card that I held in my collection for a very long time. Do we have that open? No, we still have that one open. Let's open this one up for a moment and take a look. I mean, listen, these cards were produced very well, extremely well. And this card's in great shape. I think this one is, PSA got it right this time. As much as they messed up that Yzerman, they got this one right as far as I'm concerned. And listen, it might not be a card that everyone's familiar with, but you should be like, get a little familiar with this card, people. Nick Lidstrom, all-time great, one of the best defensemen to ever lace them up. You guys, I think I was just listening to your podcast the day before yesterday, Josh. I think you guys talked about him, and you guys was it you guys that were saying that he didn't really catch on, or the hockey community didn't recognize him as an all-time great until a few years into his career? Were you guys saying that?
Well, yeah, no, he was our greatest player to wear the number 5 in that segment that we do. The thing that was amazing about him, and I still can't believe it, is he won 7 straight Norris trophies, I believe. I think I'm right there. And he did not win his first one till he was 30 years old.
Okay.
So really, his game took a little bit of time to develop. The one thing I always think of when I see this card, and I'm just curious if this will connect with you too. All right, forget that it's Pinnacle. Doesn't it look like a scorecard to you from that era?
100%. Yeah. And it is. I mean, I believe this was the same company.
It was. Okay, that makes. And then the other thing that I love about these Lidstrom rookies is the great name spelling controversy, which you happen to have the both right in a row, right? Was it with the C? Was it without the C?
I might be wrong. Maybe Mitch or someone has the information about who created this. But yeah, first of all, the spelling thing. Yeah, tough. I don't know the right way to do it. Yeah, this is a scorecard. It's right there, 1991 score. So
okay, Pinnacle was the score. So
well, and I mean, you picked right up on that without knowing, which is awesome, right? I mean, you were definitely onto something there. $19. What? Guys, okay. If you're not going to bid, I'm going to bid, because $19 is like way too cheap. I'll just bid 30 and see if I can get it at well, now you guys know my high bid. So if you bid 31, you might get it. I'm high bidder at $20 right now on this, because that is just too good of a price. My goodness. I don't know. I'm curious what the pop is on that. I don't know. I'll look at it later.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. And you'll have a memory, Josh, as to right now. You'll remember, because you just talked about his Upper Deck card. I believe you guys said 900 and something for the Upper Deck rookie pop in a 10. I wonder what this one is. I'm curious to hear it. While you're doing that, let's just go to some comments. So take 1 second here. Let's just do some comments that have come in the last little bit. Mitch says, kind of shocking to me, but I guess not shocking that this Yzerman is a 10. Lapper says that's perfectly consistent with PSA's inconsistency. Yep. Hobby Champ says the O-Pee-Chee sticker number 209 would be his first base sticker. The other two in the set are award subset stickers. Very good to know. I think that one was the 209, 252. Oh, so this isn't this is an award winner, an award sticker. Okay. Irish Flyers, shocked that that's a 10. Kind of, only kind of, Neil. I'm very, Mitch says that black mark is egregious. Again, we're talking about the Yzerman Topps rookie that is overgraded. Yeah. Hobby Champ said, I'd rather have an O-Pee-Chee 8 than that Topps 10. I completely hear that. Neil says, always enjoyed that Pinnacle set. Oh, I've been outbid. Who outbid me? Which one of you guys outbid me on the Lidstrom? The Professor? Was it you, Professor? Irish Flyer says, always enjoyed that Pinnacle set, one of the 90s icon card designs to me. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Neil. Totally with you. Like, this card brings back great memories. What's the pop on it, Josh? Did you get it?
I got it. Yeah, it's 98. There's a French version, which I didn't know, of this card that is a pop of 48 too. But out of 98, there's only been 195 submitted. So pretty high gem rate.
Yeah, the production quality on these Pinnacles was very strong, so that doesn't surprise me. Do you remember the population of his Upper Deck rookie, 91, 92 Upper Deck card number 26 that you guys talked about?
Something like 900 sounds right, because I know we looked at the Team Sweden Juniors card, and then also he had a Young Guns too. So he's got rookie cards all over the place.
Okay, I'm coming back in over the top here. I'm going to come in at $39 now. Let's see if this gets me back to the top of the leaderboard on this
last
card.
Comp was 70. So last sale was back in December. So you're still under that. You're doing good.
I'm at $39 with buyer's premium right there. So we're still half price of what it was last time. Irish Flyers says score own Pinnacle. Yeah, I think it was just a brand, really. Jeff McMahon won 7 Norris trophies, but not 7 years in a row. Thank you, Jeff McMahon. Hobby Champ says my personal favorite Lidstrom rookie is the 91-92 Parkhurst French. Only 15,000 cases were produced. Yeah, that would be, I understand that from a rarity perspective. When Josh said that this card came in a French version, I want the English version personally. That's not like, it's a gimmick, but it's not gimmicky enough for me to want it. And no offense to the Francophones or the French speaking population of Canada at all. Intended there. Mitch says Pinnacle was Optographics and then Score. 1991 was the first year they introduced the Pinnacle brand. Thank you for that, Mitch. Professor, you are not bidding on that. Okay. Thanks for telling me. But you are bidding on the Matthews Green PMG. That's a nice card, Professor. Nice card. Good luck to you. And Mitch said if people are interested, Pinnacle bought Donruss, and then both companies got bought by Playoff. Donruss Playoff dropping Pinnacle, and then Panini. Oh, great history there, Mitch. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going. We got to get through these cards, Josh. We got to get through these cards.
All right.
And another Lidstrom rookie. This is the Pro Set Platinum. This is Pro Set's attempt to kind of answer O-Pee-Chee coming out with O-Pee-Chee Premier and Upper Deck and all these nice cards that came out. So this is a PSA 10. I don't know the population, but it's sitting at a measly 20. It's sold for $27. Let's see if anything else is sold. We're going to scroll back up. Everything else still alive, still going. The PSA 8 second-year Gretzky did $372. Everything else is still going, so good. Let's see what else we have here. Josh, this is a PSA 8 Marc-Andre Fleury Young Guns rookie card, 2003. Now, usually I don't find PSA 8 Young Guns of interest, but the Marc-Andre Fleury is one of those early Young Guns, early 2000s Young Guns that people really like. PSA 8, it's already $230. I think that's really cool. This is a 2005 In the Game Heroes and Prospects Crosby. I wouldn't call it a rookie card, maybe a pre-rookie card, even though it's from the same year as his other rookie NHL rookies, but a nice card. So, it's going to go to somebody who wants to collect all the Crosby cards. It's not an NHL card. The Rimouski Oceanic was his minor league team, but it's a Gem Mint 10. Pretty cool card. But then you have his Artifacts rookie, one of my favorite Crosby rookies because it's numbered out of 750. This is a PSA 7, relatively low grade for it, $240. But yeah, numbered out of 750. And, a nice, I own a copy of this myself, Josh. This is I think this is one of two Crosby rookies that I still own right now. And this and the SP Authentic. So I love this card myself. What do you think of these three?
Marc-Andre Fleury is really cool. I looked up the pop really quick. So there's 39 PSA 10s, 109 PSA 9s, and 71 PSA 8s. So still pretty low if you compare anything to modern, where you have thousands of PSA 10s for the Jack Hughes, Kirill Kaprizov et al. So really cool card. I do like the early 2000s Young Guns as well. The Crosby one, that sort of thing isn't for me, but I appreciate it. I understand why people would want it. If you just want something kind of interesting, a little bit off the beaten path, might be an interesting card. And then I love the Artifacts rookies, like with the Crosby. The only thing about these cards that I'm kind of bummed out is Upper Deck keeps printing these cards every year, it seems like. And to me, it's watered down, this 2005 set a little bit. I pulled a Matty Beniers out of the same design in 2022 Artifacts. And so, and I understand it's a tough balancing act on their part, but I wish they'd stop going to the well with this design and let it sit a little bit.
Here. I'm getting tired of that too. That for me, that doesn't impact my love of this card. This is the original, Yep. I mean, we've seen remakes of the 54 top set and even 51 Parkhurst and 05 Cup. We see it over and over again, but I'm with you. Don't get me wrong. I wish Upper Deck would stop using these designs. It's just enough is enough. Like it's too much already. So I'm with you on that. Okay. And you mentioned the population of this Fleury here. Basically this PSA 8 is in the top 200 of all the submissions. You said the PSA 10 was a pop 30. I mean, that's minuscule compared to today's Young Guns, modern Young Guns. So
there's only been 274 even subbed.
Yeah, that's nothing. I mean, that's nothing. So, all right. Continuing on, another Crosby rookie, the 05 Beehive in a PSA 9. It's at $100. We've got, this was I just like the looks of this card. For $33 plus buyer's premium right now, you can get a 2015 Aaron Ekblad and Nathan McKinnon dual patch from Upper Deck Premier Collection, numbered out of 15, no autos, a nice clean card. But these guys were, I believe, drafted in the same year. I think that's probably why they're here together. I don't think they really share anything else in common, but 2 3-color patches, nice gold foil. It's graded. It's in a BGS 8.5 holder. And Ekblad, believe it or not, isn't a bad player. He's a great defenseman for the Florida Panthers. So I like the card. But the big card, and the one that made our thumbnail for this episode, is this Upper Deck Young Guns exclusives, Austin Matthews in a PSA 8, numbered out of 100. So, I do not collect Young Guns. It's just something I've gotten away from. I don't think I own a single Young Guns right now. But Young Guns exclusives, I feel a bit differently about, because you got that nicer foil and you've got the serial numbering to distinguish them from their massively produced counterparts. So this is, I still don't collect these, but if I did, I would want this card. This would be a key one for me, being the Austin Matthews, currently sitting at, just sold for $2,640. So a nice a nice healthy price for that card right there. Let's see what else is sold. The Crosby Beehive did 120. The Fleury sold for 276. I didn't get in. This sold for $50, 20 less than last time. I kind of just forgot to go back to it. The sticker went for $12.30. The third-year Gretzky Tops, $2,190. I'll just let you guys see for yourselves here. $3,600 on the inaction. We all agree we like that card. $250 on the Tops All-Star PSA 9. $12,000, Josh. $12,000 on the Gretzky All-Star from 1980. And the exceptional eye appeal second-year Gretzky is $2,370. And these three are still going up there. We have about 3 minutes before we lose out on them. Let's try and run. I'm just going to kind of go through these quick, Josh, and just make sure we get everything seen. Charlie McAvoy, Exquisite 07 Tribute is at $155. The Cale Makar Raw SP Authentic Future Watch Auto did $750. That seems cheap to me. I don't know if there's any condition issues. The Connor McDavid Metal Universe Platinum Portraits in a PSA 9, Pop 4, 2 higher, sold for Still Alive at $480. Still Alive at $480. I'm going to click on this now that we've reviewed the other cards. It's probably going to give me 2 cards that have sold. So we have $750 there and $192 on the Crosby PMG from 2020 in a red. So the one that we're not seeing, it must have ended, and I wish we would have gotten to it, was that PMG green Austin Matthews that we did not have time to get to. Unfortunately, it was saved. Right now, we're only seeing, how many cards are we seeing? 12. We're seeing 26 still. Did I not have that selected? Oh, there it is. I must have scrolled right by this thing. This is Still Alive. This is the one that the professor was the professor says he was going for. Yeah, I do love this card, Professor. I don't want to, I'm sorry to attract more attention to it, but sorry, not sorry sort of thing. I wish you luck, but I love this card, Josh. I love the simplicity of the 2021 base PMGs compared to the 2020s. The 2020s were super busy with this metallic going across the top, I believe it was. These are really nice and clean. And I don't think that this picture does much justice to the green foil. So your thoughts, Josh, please.
Yeah, I really like the design of it too. And I do agree it is more simplified. There was a PSA 9 that had sold back at the end of May for $404. So this will be an all-time high. And I got to jump back to that Gretzky PSA 10 All-Star that sold for $12,000. Based on my cursory look, that is by far the biggest sale ever for that card. I think the all-time high from what I'm seeing was $8,000 previously. It's a big jump.
That's wonderful for the seller. Good one. And listen, I think it's fine for the buyer too. There's only 11 of these, and there's the demand for this card will always be there, I believe. Now, it's not the same as the regular base card, but it's, if you are a Gretzky collector and you're going for that like O-Pee-Chee run, let's say from 79 to 90 or 91, that's only like 11 or 12 cards. Once you get it, you're going to start expanding. A lot of people are going to start expanding that. And I think they're going to go and look at cards like this from all of his other all-star team leader cards, in actions from all the other years, because I don't think there was every year where he only had one card in the set. Maybe 88. I can't think if he had any more in 88, but again, he may, people I think there will always be a love for this card or a demand for it, I should say. And it's a nice looking card. So very cool that we set an all-time record there. This card just got a bid, the McKinnon Platinum Portraits. The McDavid Platinum Portraits, my bad, up to $625. Nice to see. So, and you mentioned this is going to be a record on this one here. Oh, these just sell? Let's see if these have now sold. Let this continue to update. And still alive on those two. So let's go back to the top here. I want to thank Mitch. I mean, you're awesome in the chat, buddy. right here. He says McKinnon and Ekblad. So we're talking about this card here. Were number 1 draft picks back to back. Thank you, Mitch. They weren't drafted in the same year. They were back to back number 1s. That's really cool. Back to back number 1s. It's a beautiful card, like $46. I mean, I don't know what the market value is, but, and the population here, it's like, it doesn't even matter because there's only 15 of these things. So really, who cares about the population? But, there's a bid coming in. Oh, these both just got a bid as we're sitting here right now. So nice to see people are taking interest in these cards. McAvoy, Josh, I mean, you and Troy on the Gong Show podcast, you do such a great job of taking deep dives into so many players. Have you ever taken a look at Charlie McAvoy? If you have or haven't, what are your thoughts on this guy as a player?
The first time we talked about him was for this specific card. And one of the points that I made to Troy on our show was that the more I get to know Bruins fans, they love this kid. He just doesn't have a lot of awareness, I think, outside of Bruins collectors. Of course, his name, but really kind of understand, I guess, how maybe good of a player he is. And the thing we commented on this card is it's got a very unique patch window and design to it. So that really stood out to me on the McAvoy exquisite.
Yeah, and it's the tribute. It's a tribute to a exquisite basketball collection, I believe. That's where the design comes from. So Upper Deck, again, going back to that well, and I would say to Upper Deck, go there once, but please stop. Please leave this design alone. I love the design myself. I think it's it's got symmetry to it. I like the portrait headshot up there. Nice clear picture. Lots of white space. I'd say a decent spot for the autograph. I wouldn't say great because it's tight between the logo and the name here, but it's a lot of dead space right in this area here. But I don't mind some dead white space. I think it looks nice. But yeah, John pipes up and says, "I agree. Please stop with the tribute cards." Yeah, we're with you there, John. Larry, welcome, says, got the 1990 O-Pee-Chee Premier Joe Sakic PSA 9 for less than the price of grading. No doubt. Very good. Very good. Congrats. John says, hail Charlie McAvoy. Mitch says, I think the McAvoy listing is an error. The tribute is to 08-09 exquisite basketball, the Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook year. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that, Josh. But, yeah, you're right. The listing, the Beckett slab is wrong. So I think PWCC just copied the Beckett slab, but it says 07-08. So if you're certain that is not because the 07 is the Durant year, and that's definitely a different design. That was a horizontal design. So I think you're right, Mitch. Thanks for calling that out. Name says, you read my mind, Josh. Was curious about that sale and was hoping you'd mention it, being the Gretzky for $12,000. Jake Dahl got the 1990 O-Pee-Chee Premier Brett Hall. PSA 9, congratulations. Mitch Hobby Champ said the Lidstrom that I bid on, being the pinnacle rookie, is the most visually appealing of his rookie cards by far. I really like it, but I've really grown to like the Young Guns, even though it's not a rookie card. So I'm still with you on that, Hobby Champs. Still with you on that. Kelly Malone, welcome, says, bidding on a card that's very rare. Have never seen it, but I don't think you'll tell the story of hockey without him. You must be talking about this one right here, Kelly. You must be talking about this Tretiak by what you're saying. And if you are, let us know if we're right. But yeah, very cool. John says, also not a fan of buybacks. Yeah, I'm not a fan of buybacks either, John. We're on the same page there. All right. Yeah, we like this card, Kelly. If this is the one you're going for, I'm talking for me and Josh. Josh, I like it. Josh, do you like it too?
Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell if you just said Hachu or I do too, but you do too is what you said. The PSA 6 Topps Gretzky sold for $1,470. And one of Josh's picks tonight, the 54 Ted Lindsay, did $490. I did notice that the Topps Yzerman has got another bid a few minutes ago. I gotta say, like, I destroyed this card earlier on in the program because it's way overgraded by PSA. Let's take another look at why I say that. And obviously, whoever bid on it likely isn't watching. But let's just take another look, because I want to make sure that no one in my audience here and our audience on the weekly show here with Josh is gonna bid on this, because I just can't get comfortable with anybody I know bidding on this and paying PSA 10 money, because this is an 8 at best, you guys. This is not a 9. This is just not in 9 condition. Look at this, and Mitch said it well. This is egregious right here. You even see, if you even look in closer, you've got fading in the red ink there. You got fading in there. So first you've got this blemish, which is an eyesore. You've got the more of it over here. Registration's horrible. Centering isn't even 60-40. I don't know what they did here. It must be a mistake. Literally, I can't see PSA grading this a 10. I have to think this is just a mistake on the printer, and that this is probably an 8. I really don't understand it.
What's the bid at, Jeremy?
Pardon me?
What's the bid at for this card?
$14.75 plus BP. So it's, over $1,600, $1,750 right now or so.
Yeah, the all-time high is $1,830. So one more bid, and this is going to set a record sale for this card.
I even if I, listen, I'm not PWCC, but if I was, I'd feel bad about this sale right here. This is just a terrible card for the grade. Absolutely terrible. Okay, well, but it is what it is. Like, we got to call it as we see it here. Otherwise, we're not doing a service to anybody, really. Okay, Kelly confirms. Yep, that was quick. I was hoping you weren't talking about it. We were, Kelly. We liked, we like it because we've never seen it before, and it's from 1970, and it's just such a cool piece. Kelly, I wish you luck. I think it was at $90 when we looked at it at the beginning, Josh. So people are bidding, but good luck, Kelly. I hope you get it, and I hope you get it at a price you're happy with. Irish Flyer says Eiserman buyer is chasing the grade, not the card. So much issue with the color gap by the pink and magenta. Yeah, the registration is like, it's terrible. Larry says another case of buying a holder. Yeah, that's and that's, hey, okay, if that's what you want. I can't get around that. I couldn't do it. Yeah, Hobby Champ said the set registry doesn't know the difference. No, it does not. Professor says Josh is spot on about Bruins fans and interest in McAvoy. My EPAC Ovation McAvoys are getting lots of trade requests. So he's a fan favorite. Look, he had a couple years there, Josh, if I remember correctly, where he was like a top defenseman in the league. He might have been in the running for the Norris Trophy 1 year. And he's I was talking about regional premiums just the other night, or last night. We were talking about regional premiums on Sports Cards Live, and a player like Charlie McAvoy gets a regional premium, I believe. John says he's a future Norris winner. Josh, anything else you want to say about McAvoy that you hadn't said before based on some of these recent comments?
It just kind of reinforces what we know, is that he's very, very popular in Boston, but I just don't think outside of that community or market and collector base, he has a lot of recognition yet. He doesn't, we have a Cale Makar type guy who, of course, is very well known, very well chased by even fans or people that are not fans of the Avalanche. He's kind of one of these regional guys, but he seems like a great player. And because of that, and we're in Minnesota, we don't know a ton about him either.
Right. Yeah. Professor, did you win the PMG Matthews? It sold for $1,020 with buyer's premium. If you did, congratulations. If you didn't, hopefully next time. I want to, this McAvoy, listen, this is a rookie year card. It's out of 25. It's an on-card auto with a 3-color patch, and it's sitting at $180. Now, I don't care that it's a BGS 8.5. To me, I don't care about the condition of a card like this. Look, I don't want it with a crease through it. I don't want it driven over. I don't want it to have rounded corners. But this card seems like, I'm not going to say that it seems like a steal at this price, but I'm not comparing it to any comps. I'm just going by my gut, especially knowing how much love he gets in the hobby, especially from Boston fans. Yeah, John says it well. 8.5 for a patch auto is great to me. Me too, John. 8.5 for a patch auto is great. And I'll tell you what else. I won't pay a premium for anything over an 8.5 on a patch auto. I don't care if it's an 8.5, a 9, a 9.5, or a 10. I'm paying the same amount across the board. John says it's like a 9.5 of any other regular thickness card. Yeah, I agree. And it's rookie, says Jake Dahl. Right? I don't care that it doesn't have the RC designation. It's a rookie year card. $180, guys. Well, I would say, please don't bid on this card. And somebody else has. Somebody else has been bidding on this. And I will say, I don't want anyone in the Sports Cards Live audience bidding on this Yzerman card, but I certainly want you guys bidding on this McAvoy because I think it's awesome. It doesn't fit into my collection personally, but I think it's awesome. So there you go. Professor did not win the one. I own the just one graded higher though, and Josh made a great comment about the last sale at 450. 950 was your ceiling. Oh, so you were looking to own more than one of them. That's pretty cool. You already have one. I'm happy to hear that for you. Very good, Professor. Irish Flyer says, put that McAvoy card in the Yzerman slab. Right on, Neil. Good call there. Let's see what's going on with this way overgraded Yzerman. It's at 1525. I hope the bidding ends there. It's now broken the all-time high. It's
tied it. So it would be 1830 with buyer's premium. One more bid, and it sets the new all-time high mark. And I kind of agree with you. That would be a shame.
It would. Well, here's the thing. It would be a shame. But then what happens is the next time we see a PSA 10 Topps Yzerman rookie hit auction and it's nicer, well, now there's an argument for that card that it should sell for, like, if this does 1,800, a nicer one should do 2,400. Like, this is like, I would pay double. Listen, if this was the fair market value of this card, I would pay double for a nicer 10. If I was after, like, that's, so I think this is going to do favors for future PSA 10s. It should, at least. It should. And we just had a bid come in on the Tretiak. It's up to 160, which is 192 with buyer's premium. John says a Makar rookie like that McAvoy would sell for $2,000 plus. Yeah, I probably would. And this is a great looking card. Oh, look at this. Our dual patch is getting another bid. It is a nice card. And now they were drafted first overall in back-to-back years, but this isn't a rookie year card for either of them. I believe McKinnon was drafted in 13 and Ekblad in 12 or 4. I don't remember what year. 12.
I don't remember either. Maybe? Mitch will know.
Let's see what's going on. Mike Kemmel says, if anyone cares, Tretiak is one of 25 postcards in the set of 1971 World Champions. Never seen this set before. We'll try to pick one up next time I go home to Belarus. That's cool. Thank you for look at the information we're getting here. You know,
awesome.
Like this is great stuff. Thank you. Thank you everybody for giving us that information. Name says 14. What is that in relate? Do you know what he's talking about there? Oh, thank you. 2014 for Ekblad, 2013 for McKinnon. Thank you guys. Thank you. So we're still at 160 on the Tretiak. No more bids on the Yzerman yet. 1:46. A bid is needed in the next 1:45 here in order for this thing to continue going. So let's see what happens there. Continuing down, we saw this sell for 300. These two are still alive. The Platinum Portraits McDavid, 675 for the PSA 9. 2 graded higher. This is one of the best 6 ones out there. I love this card, by the way. I love Platinum Portraits, and this is a great looking card.
I have a question for you about these. Do you think what holds these cards back from sales a little bit is the fact that they just don't photograph that well?
Maybe. I mean, that's a great theory, Josh, because it could very well be the case.
They are a super tough chase. Like, if you ever look at the pack odds to hit one, holy smokes, they are tough. And there's just certain cards that you can't that don't photo. I put like Jambalaya is kind of in that category too. They look wholly different in person than they do on any photograph. And believe me, PWCC might take the nicest pictures of any company out there. Like, they put a lot of care and work, and I just, despite that, I don't think there's a way to really communicate the essence of this card through a photograph.
Well, I agree. So I want to see if they actually have. Let's see. No, they don't have like the 360 on the weekly, but yeah, I mean, this is a laser die cut card. These are all little holes in the card. I love the silver foil that they use, or the platinum foil maybe is what they would call it. Yeah, if you haven't seen one of these in person, you don't really know exactly what you're getting here. Although I will say this isn't a bad image of it. Like, it's not a bad image at all. still, but I certainly
No,
hear
it's
what
not
you're saying.
terrible. But it's still.
And I wasn't implying you were saying bad. I think it does somewhat show the card how it appears, but yeah, I'm with you. It's not a perfect view of it. Looks like this card did get another bid up to 15. What was it? 1525 before, or are we up to 1575 now on the Yzerman?
Yeah, so that would put it. It's a record sale.
And now another bid came in. It's now up to 1600. Are people not looking at the card? I don't think the people bidding are looking at this card because. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to some comments here. John says the PSA 9 PMG is like a BGS 10. John says Upper Deck must run PMGs in a dryer cycle before putting them in packs. It's just the way the foil cuts. They're fragile. That's what it is, John. They're super fragile, that top layer. That's what it is. Mitch says, might be a hot take, but I still don't think they look good in person, which holds the values back. Some of the platinum portraits. Yeah, that's just an individual opinion. And I'm sure you're not alone on that, Mitch, but stemming back to the 97 platinum portraits in basketball specifically, that's what that is modeled after. And those cards, sell for humongous money. Like the Jordan is a $50,000-$60,000 card. So
the pack odds for that McDavid would be in hobby 1 out of 21,000 packs.
Whoa. Wow. That's rare. Yeah. Really rare. I keep wanting to see what's going on here with the Yzerman. 3 minutes on this one to see if it's going to get another bid. Now, let's start at the top and see what else is still alive. So we've got the Tretiak here still going at 160. We got the Yzerman. We got the duel here. The McAvoy still going. It seems like it's only got another $5 bid. The McDavid is still going at $775. These are all sold. These are all sold. These are all sold. These have all sold. So the Beehive did $120. Pretty cheap for a Crosby rookie. And here on page 2, let's see what's left on. Oh, again, we saw these both sold. There's not the Professors, Matthews PMG Green from 2021 and the Crosby PMG. See, this is the one I was talking about. Like, look at the difference in these two designs.
Yeah,
I really like this one compared to this one. I don't hate this design, but I think it'd be a lot cleaner without this tread. If they just replace this tread down here, Josh, and this tread over here, and they replaced it with this pattern in the background, I'd like this card a lot more. Too much action for me. Do you agree, or do you like it as is? Which of the 2 years side by side do you like better?
I think I prefer the 2021, but I really want Upper Deck to stop making base cards for what I would love for the new PMG strategy to be is rookies. And for each player, and then for maybe one rookie, one veteran base, and that's it. And so that we don't, because I'm just so fearful that we're going to be 4 years from now and there's going to be 17 different McDavid base PMGs, because you have the base PMG, you have the photo variation, then you have the EPAC achievement version, and it's just too much for my liking.
Me too. And I've mentioned. I'm sure you've mentioned it to the guys.
Oh, yeah, I've told them.
I've mentioned. They're hearing it from all angles right now. I think they know that it's enough. But let's see. It's also they have to produce what people want, and if they perceive that people want more and more PMGs, they'll probably keep on making them, even though the collectors, the long-term holders, maybe don't like it as much.
Have you seen like what's really interesting though about Skybox Metal Universe is that the 2020 box prices, like when the Ovechkin bounty for the gold retro PMG was out there, they were selling for I want to say like $325 now. I just saw you can get a 2020 at the, I think it was the National, a 2021 Skybox Metal Universe Hockey Hobby box for something like $80. So it's really slid, and I just think Upper Deck has to be really careful because we're not. You have to add onto the whole PMG conversation then the retros too. How often are they going to go back to the 97, 98 retro, which they seem to be repeating again and again and again.
Right. And so if they're selling for that, if the product that you just mentioned, I forget what product year you said.
2021, 22, the last release.
The last release of hockey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the same set that the Austin Matthews Green PMG came out of.
Like, you're not talking about this product here, which is the Metal Universe Champions all sports. You're talking about the hockey product. So yeah. So the other thing that Upper Deck has to be careful with is if the earlier years of that are being devalued, that's going to hurt the demand for the upcoming years of it. So yeah, they do have to find that balance, I think, for sure. Okay. Let's see here. Larry says, I had a PSA order that just popped and I had 3 2020-21 Avalanche, Colorado Avalanche red PMGs that all got min size, no grades. And listen, I'm gonna give you a kind of a take you might not be expecting from me on that, which is I don't blame PSA for not slabbing those cards. They are probably simply too small for the holder and will bounce around too much and could be damaged inside their holder. I don't think they're telling you they suspect trim. I think they're telling you that, because I know this from being involved at Tag, we don't want to put cards in tag holders that are too small because they can get damaged inside. And I'm gonna give PSA the benefit of the doubt here and say that they are probably thinking the same thing. I don't know how this card got a 10, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on the min size stuff. That sucks, Larry, and that's an Upper Deck issue, hopefully, and it's a production issue. So John says, bought a PMG red rookie at Pasternak out of 100, bought it recently, value went down drastically on them. No doubt, yeah. Mitch says, I think the 2021 box price is tanked because you basically got one card of value and the pack was always in the same spot every box, so people knew how to cherry pick. Hobby Champ says the player's first PMG/Star Rubies should always carry a premium. I'm glad you mentioned Star Rubies because, as you probably know, that's like my favorite rookie year card of a player. I love Star Rubies. Hot take from Neil. I don't get the PMG fascination. Oh, you should talk to Troy. Outside of the original release, I'm not sure I understand the appeal and high value, but to each their own. Yeah, it's a brand equity thing, I think, really. Professor did win the 2017. Oh, you won the McAvoy, Professor.
Nice.
Good to hear. What did you get? 222. You stole it. I think you stole it. Congratulations. You have my complete approval on that one. Kelly got the Tretiak. Congratulations. I mean, $200. Like, I think you stole it, Kelly. I love it. Congratulations. The Professor says the discussion tonight about the McAvoy patch, the regional premium, and chat history discussion was extremely helpful to give me confidence. Thanks so much. Well, you're welcome. And that's I think what the best part about this show, and what I heard from so many people at the National who came up to me and said, I love your auction coverage shows because they're such a good opportunity to learn. Even if I'm not bidding on cards, I learn so much. But people are bidding on cards as we're explaining them. And listen, that's great for this show, because if we're helping bring attention to good cards and hopefully helping people not make bad decisions, then as I point to that Yzerman card, I think we're doing a service to PWCC, to the consigners, and to the bidders.
I kind of feel like we're watching a car crash at this point following this auction, or for this specific item, because it's 2130 up to now. Oh, got another bid.
Yeah, we're sitting here in horror, which is good. Listen, I got to tell you, I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, let's just watch this thing play out. Like, are you not looking at the card? I just don't get it. And that's, hey, not everybody cares about the card. A lot of people just care about the holder, and all the power to you. The consigner of this card is very grateful for that. There's no doubt about it. So, all right. John is congratulating the Professor on the Charlie McAvoy. Name says, I never bid on anything, but I always enjoy this auction show. Good conversation, great cards, awesome people. Maybe one day you will bid on something. I'm just trying to think of which Indigenous players could fall into this auction, because you're not going to see much Tutu or Chichu. But you're going to see some Sasakamoose, and then some you're going to see Trottier. You'd know better than me, name on who fits your criteria. Professor says, Jeremy, I like the way you rattled off the history of hockey PMGs when the president of Upper Deck asked you. Right. I said something about too many. He said, well, really? I said, well, yeah, you got this. I told him the whole history of what they've done in the last 10 years. John says to the Professor, you will do good on that McAvoy in the next 5 years. Carey Price, says Mitch, for Indigenous players of whom we will see cards for in the weekly auction. No doubt about it, Mitch. Good call. Good call. So the Tretiak has been sold to a viewer for $204. This beautiful dual patch from Premier of Ekblad and McKinnon did $72. I think that's a fair price for the card. Yzerman's still alive, needs another bid. And let's see. There's the bid. There's the bid. Just came in, Josh. So that is now going to extend for another minute. McAvoy.
So you know me, Jeremy. I'm the record sale guy on Instagram, and I'm just thinking, I don't know if I have the heart to do a record sale for that Yzerman. I might just let that one go.
I think you do it. And then you have in the second slide a clip of me ripping the card to shreds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea, right? Good content marketing planning here. So I like it.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, the McDavid Platinum Portraits does $930, $588 on the Ted Lindsay. And then we've seen these ended earlier tonight from the watch list. And I didn't get this card. I could have bid another $10 or so, but I just didn't get to it as we're running the show. So let's go back to the top here, see what's still going. So it looks like we're down to just the Yzerman, which is kind of funny, right? Is that the only card? That is the only card that we are watching that is still going, you guys. So once this one ends, we will wrap up the episode. There's another bid. So this is going to go for another minute for sure. Neil says to you, Josh, do that. It's a good teaching moment for Gong Show followers. That's right. I mean, the more we can teach the hobby to buy the card, not the grade. I think. Now, listen, I say that as if that's the only way to approach the hobby. Let me just qualify that by saying that's the way I approach the hobby, and I know a lot of people do. I know I'm not alone. I know and the people I talk to in my chat groups and people who I respect in the hobby, they follow that same approach. But I've talked to some very sophisticated, very experienced collectors who don't care. They just want the grade because they want to see their name at the top of the list on that PSA set registry. And I'm trying to find a way to support that, and I can't come up with it. I can't come up with something in my head that I can justify that. I just can't. I mean, maybe you want to win the PSA award, so you are recognized at the annual luncheon, which is really just all about ego. I can't get there. I can't get there.
I think what we're talking about is kind of an important reminder to everyone, and where I think a lot as someone who's still very much learning in this hobby, that there really the way that we all learn is through the school of hard knocks. And if we kind of can collectively agree that whoever bought that card that's now sold for $2,370 at an all-time high made a mistake, well, there's a lot of ridiculous mistakes that I would be embarrassed to talk about that I've made in this hobby too. And so, I think it's something you point out with grace and humility, and do it in the spirit, not to shame somebody for maybe making a financial move you wouldn't do into a particular card, but doing it in a way that kind of teaches everyone, why you think that this is probably not the exact copy of this card to go this deep on. Be nice about it, I guess is what I'm saying.
You make a great point. I wouldn't want to shame anybody. Listen, I'm more or less trying to protect our audience here tonight. I don't want to shame anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel bad. If I were the buyer of a card like this, and I just, for whatever reason, maybe it was very impulsive last few seconds, I didn't have time to look at the card, but I knew I needed it. I would probably just suck it up, sell it on the open market. And because if the thing is, the PSA has a guarantee. Whoever bought this card could submit it under the guarantee and say, hey, is this really a 10? Because I paid 10 money. Here's my invoice from PWCC. Is this really a 10? And if PSA tells you it is, well, then you know that they can't do that because it's clearly not a 10. But if they tell you, no, you know what, we made a mistake on this one, they're going to pretty much reimburse you what you paid, or at least the difference between that and what they think this is worth, or they'll buy it from you. I don't know what they do exactly, but you're kind of protected. So it's not the worst thing. yeah, I don't want to shame anybody, but it's also a good learning lesson. Like that's someone's tuition for getting into this sort of card, okay, now they're never going to make that mistake again if they come to realize that they just paid record-breaking PSA 10 money for a card that's no better than a PSA 8. So,
totally agree.
Okay, Professor, can I ask about a non-PWCC hockey card? I'd say no tonight, Professor. This is a PSA sponsored show. So
PWCC sponsored.
What did I say? PSA? Yeah, sorry. I would say no, Professor. This is a PWCC show, so I'd rather not speak about cards on other sales platforms during this episode, but feel free to DM me if you have a question you'd like to ask me, or DM Josh. I'm sure he'll help you as well. What is up, Baz? Joining the show late, but better late than never. We're just about to wrap up. Good to see you. And John says, I encourage people to buy the slab. This way I can buy raw cards for cheaper. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, John. All right. Well, Josh, I think we're ready to wrap up. We got well over 50 people with us. A great viewership tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for the great chat engagement. Thank you for those who provided us with facts and stories behind some of these cards. Greatly appreciate that. Josh, anything you'd like to mention to the audience about any upcoming specials on your podcast, anything like that?
Well, we got a new episode dropping tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. like we do every Monday. So looking forward to that. And no, we're just kind of chugging along through the off season. We did a study for tomorrow's show on Easter eggs, which was kind of a really fun topic to dig into, and really hard because there is no central place that is a resource or references all the Easter eggs, at least that I know of. Maybe you could tell me. But
I don't know of one, but I'm seeing a few people leave. Don't leave yet, because I want to let everybody know that next Saturday, this coming Saturday, I can't tell you yet who it is, but I've got guests coming onto Sports Cards Live next Saturday who are going to be bringing information to the audience that a lot of people in the hobby want to know, but nobody knows yet, and nobody's going to know until next Saturday on Sports Cards Live. This is somebody that people want to hear from in the hobby, and they're going to be doing it on Sports Cards Live next Saturday, and they won't be doing it anywhere before. So watch my Instagram account for the next few days, because I'm sure I will announce it soon. And that is next Saturday on my Sports Cards Live show. So be sure to tune into that. I think it'll interest a lot of people. Lapper, you have a great week yourself. Neil, thank you for joining us tonight. Great having you. John, thank you so much. And with that, thank you, Basement Breaks. See your comment. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. And with that, everybody, this exciting episode of the PWCC weekly hockey auction coverage with Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gong Show. And good night to you. Later to you, hobby champs. I see your comment. This episode is now over.